Wow. So 4 by 4 by 4 room with a floor and some walls, no bathrooms, just some sheetrock and plywood and concrete floor, but no
Well,
electricity,
not
no walls,
exactly,
and no.
Birdman. We wanted to install floors as well, but floors would impact the natural environment of the sand flea in the areas where we were going to build these homes, so we also had to do away with the poured floors, too.
You're listening to the Junior Birdman Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Junior Birdman Podcast. I am your host, the Junior Birdman. Today we're joined by our friend Mike. You know him as the Pillow Guy, who's going to give us a little update. He's doing some stuff out there for the homeless in California, and he's going to let us know what's going on. Mike, welcome to the Junior Birdman Podcast.
Well, thank you for having me, Birdman. You know, we set out to give the homeless in California a real chance with a real home, and despite some challenges, we think we're very near beginning implementation of our plan.
Well, that's fantastic. Tell us about what kind of plans you got out there.
Sure. Well, housing in California is a real problem, and the regulations and restrictions, along with the permit and review process, there's a lot of red tape, and we had to make some changes from our original plan in order to accommodate the legislature and the governor and their agenda for the state. But we think despite those challenges and restrictions, we have a chance to make a real difference.
Well, what kind of challenges did you run into in trying to implement your plan?
Well, originally we planned to build a freestanding dwelling to accommodate 2 to 4 people with a bathroom and a locking door with air filtration and electricity, but we had to slim down the plans a little because of some very strict regulations in the state.
Well, what kind of changes did you have to make then to match the regulations?
Well, you know,
state?
they were already designed to be small to begin with, Birdman, at 13 feet by 13 feet and 7 feet high, but we had to make them even smaller to be within the guidelines outlined by the California legislature. So the new units had to come down in size to be only 4 by 4 by 4.
Wow, that's extremely small. You can't even stand up in a unit like that, Mike. That's not even...
Well, we're trying, and we're hoping we'll get some flexibility from the governor to allow the roofs to maybe be opened up so you could stand inside if you need to. But that's just one of the changes we had to try to make to accommodate the government in California.
Wow. Well, what are some of the other changes you had to make to
Well,
try
we
and
also
accommodate
had to get rid of the locking doors because the government feels that locking doors perpetuates crime. We also had to get rid of the bathrooms because the bathrooms are bad for the environment, and we were not allowed to provide them electricity because electricity causes global warming.
Wow. So 4 by 4 by 4 room with a floor and some walls, no bathrooms, just some sheetrock and plywood and concrete floor, but no electricity,
Well, not
no walls,
exactly,
and
Birdman. We wanted to install floors as well, but floors would impact the natural environment of the sand flea in the areas where we were going to build these homes, so we also had to do away with the poured floors, too.
Okay, so no homes in the floors either.
No,
so.
we had to do away with the floors, and we also had to do away with the walls because plywood and sheetrock, as you mentioned, are materials that are deemed to be a threat to the climate in California, so we had to find another material that was suitable for the legislature.
Well, what material does the legislature find suitable?
Well, the only material the California legislature would allow us to build with is cardboard.
Cardboard?
Yes, we'll have to use cardboard, but we're going to be using the finest cardboard, handcrafted in my home state of Minnesota for these homes. They're going to be the most comfortable cardboard boxes the homeless have ever lived in.
I'm sure they're going to be comfortable, but I mean, this is the only material, you can use. That's
Yes,
just
cardboard is deemed acceptable as long as we used recycled cardboard, and we have that shipped in special from Egypt. It's the softest, most comfortable cardboard in the world. It's grown especially and recycled especially for us and exclusively for these homeless cardboard boxes.
Well, it sounds like you're trying to do a good thing, Mike, and I'm sure the folks out there, even though with all
Well,
this,
don't forget
appreciate
to thank the good folks in the California Legislature and the California Governor's Office for their contribution to this whole situation. Without them, none of this would be happening, Birdman.
I think you're exactly right, Mike. I think without them, none of this would be happening. Well, thanks again for joining us, and appreciate all your updates on what's going on out there in California.
Well, thanks again for having me.
You bet.
Thank you for listening to the Junior Birdman Podcast. Be sure to like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell to be alerted when new videos are posted.